All right, we are back just in time. This game was supposed to be happening on Field 7, moved to Field 1, and we're now streaming Union versus
Bronze medal action. Just a note, we do not have a roster for Quest, so unfortunately, we're going to have to just go by the numbers of Quest as we don't have a roster. Azuzen in the area, Quest able to get it. This was an impromptu stream, so apologies for the tardiness there.
Absolutely not. You're getting I Am Ultimate chaotic action. So thank you for whoever's joining us for this particular stream as Sky picks it up. And turn just at the end zone line.
Quest on the doorstep of his score right here. Bronze medal action, reset around. Bobbled catch. See what the call is.
And this game does not appear to be observed. And point called by Union. Quest take the lead.
1-0.
And Quest will be pulling. So this game, as you can kind of tell from a little bit of a surprise, is we were anticipating that this would actually be happening on the next field over, perhaps not be played, perhaps be played on a different field. And so this is a pleasant surprise to be able to bring this mixed game to you. The open game that was second place open game did not happen as GOAT beat Phoenix as Dan Balzerson brings the disc up and swings it wide, and there is a call, and there are observers in this game, and a pick call. Union at half field. And Dan. And Union make quick work, clean point, 1-1. This is the bronze medal game. And as we get set for the and Theo Wan coming back into the chat now over here, which is really what this commentary is. It's just a little bit of a chat and a conversation.
Yeah, you hear the behind the scenes, folks, and yeah, I was gonna take a break, decided not to. You know, we're back here bringing you the stream. Like we said, Quest out of Quebec City taking on Toronto's Union for bronze, and Yeah, this game we didn't know Tushar that we were going to stream this until like it's literally just started. So Union we have some knowledge of, and unfortunately with Quest we will go by their numbers as we do not have a roster. So hey, more frisbee. That's always fun. So let's do it.
And the first point, Quest having a turnover, but then getting it right back. Both tight matchups. Both these cities have a history of strong teams. As it sprinkles a little bit here at the field, we will take a break between these points just to clean the lens off.
Carroll snacks it down. You know him from GOAT, but he's been playing with the Union right now.
Very impressed by the mullet he's grown.
Yeah, he's looking like, when he has the headband on, he's looking like a soccer player. Powell finding a diving Cam Dunning, one of the Union veterans. Carroll. Powell some big fakes. He's been on Union for a while. Used to play for Maverick, a team out of Kitchener, Waterloo, Ontario. They're going to go up line for Nippon for the score. So Union gets a break going up 2-1.
And both teams now starting to contend with warmer weather, which this day has been quite cold. But as it warms up a little bit, we are seeing perhaps a little bit more rainfall, but definitely better than yesterday when we were dealing with what I would say is real rain.
I was not here for that, so I did not see the heavy rainfall that was happening.
So Theo, in just interest of stream, where were you at yesterday? What do you do during your days now?
I podcast for the Hockey Day podcast. You can check that out on the podcast platforms. And I also work at a university in Toronto in athletic communications. So get to do a bit of story writing and social media and rosters and things like that, sports information.
I think you were at Varsity Stadium yesterday?
Varsity Stadium, T-Dot. That is right. It was sunny the whole day there, by the way. It was not sunny here, I will say.
It was basically, as soon as you got to Kingston, It was sunny all day yesterday. It's been raining now in pretty much southern Ontario everywhere, as well as the capital region. But much better weather today than was anticipated a few days ago.
Yeah, and the fields have held up. There's going to be a mixed final after this. I know maybe some people had questions about if there's an open playing game that we had previously maybe talked about. There is not, so I'm not sure, Tushar, if you already talked about that, but Mephisto, by proxy of defeating GOAT earlier, automatically gets second place.
And that might have been a universe point as well for Phoenix. And Phoenix.
Yeah, I was streaming that. Phoenix had an opportunity.
Great layout.
On offense to start the point and not able to get it. So tough GOAT coming out with the victory. But here, focusing back on this game, Quest now working against Union zone look. David Murray, who I really like, number 4. He's been a player on Queen's Mothership. And he's a defensive wizard, they call him. And you can see him on the top of that wedge zone there. 24 for Quest.
Strong, confident handling from Quest. Quebec in general known for their strong conditioning, especially because their winter programs focus on keeping their players healthy and in a competitive system. We've seen 4v4 come out of that Quebec system, while many other places in Canada do play it. It's really been the Quebec 4v4 that has established a championship series.
Going down the line is Quest to get the hold, much needed. 2-all to score.
And quite a bit of movement on that play, perhaps 70 passes in order to get that into the end zone. But not a lot of risk taken. Union transitioning to match defense at about 3/4 of the way down the field. earlier we had mentioned in one of the previous games that it was nice to have pronunciations, etc., on the rosters, and those were rosters we have generally collected ourselves as part of this broadcast, because the rule is that you do not need numbered jerseys coming into this tournament. This is the same for the Masters tournament. Given the short organization schedule, given the supply chain problems that some suppliers may not have been able to provide jerseys in a timely manner. So only for the live streaming games did you actually need to have numbered jerseys, and just any number, while trying to avoid any conflicting numbers, was what was preferred. So roster numbers were not collected this year because they were not a requirement. It is likely to be the case that next year they will be necessary, and of course whomever is live streaming will have a better availability of information.
Atchison finding Carroll. Blanchard. He's got some sweet hair himself. Male players working it right now for Union. Atchison finds Sarah Lamb, former Zen player, part of that Toronto system, coming into their own. Blanchard going to go around to Atchison for the score. Union make it look easy on offense.
Make it 3-2. Blanchard last weekend playing for BOD out of Montreal, a game that we also spoke about, and he played that game against Reunion, the Masters team. And earlier today, Dan Balzerson played against Crash, which is a team which he was involved in founding quite a few years ago. Actually went to Worlds with them as well, a Waterloo program, but now plays with Union. Had played with Chaos as well a few years ago. So Dan definitely going around, learning different players, has played on Team Canada as well. The opportunity to see Union play earlier this season at Nationals in Barrie, and they had a loss on the first day to, was it Crank or Anchor? I think it might have been
Anchor was not there, so it was Crank.
It was potentially Crank.
It was Crank.
And that earned Crank that bid to, or they had already known, but that they were coming to Nationals. But this was a interesting matchup.
Zone look here from Union, trying to stifle the Quest offense. Quest taking out Battleship in the quarterfinals, and then losing in the semis to PBHG, who's going to be in the final against Red Flag. Going across the field for a score. Offense is dialing it up right now. Love to see that.
And this is some clean offensive play after that messy first point by both teams. Now working well. And we have yet to see the defensive pressure come in, but it's been a hard tournament for these. They've already had, for these players, they've already had 2 games today. This is their 3rd game of the day, having had quarterfinals first thing in the morning or second thing in the morning, followed by semis, and now this bronze medal game, while in the finals, PBHG, is that the team?
Yes, Pretty Boys and Handsome Girls, that is their name.
Will be playing against Red Flag. And Red Flag opting for playing in the original time slot.
I'm okay with that, Tushar, because I think maybe you get some rest, recollect yourself. Some teams like to play right away, but I don't know. There's pros and cons to it, because you could get stiff, right, and get too relaxed. So that makes it tricky.
And that Red Flag team full of U20, U24, they obviously have some sort of game plan that they're wanting to stick to, electing to wait.
Carroll looking deep for Jackie Mann. He'll find her in the end zone for the score.
And offenses on both teams, as you said, rolling. Andrew Carroll, previously playing for that team out of Kingston. And it was quite hyped up. I remember about 8-9 years ago, and they came out of nowhere at regionals to earn their spot at nationals.
Yeah, it wasn't Local 613, right? That was a team before it, no?
It was Local 613, but there's a lot of they were kind of under the radar. And I believe it was us at I Am Ultimate who actually called them to be the dark horse, and that's what it turned out to be at a tournament at regionals. And Jackie Mann, also coming from Waterloo.
Man, this Waterloo connection is being strong right now in this game.
Waterloo tends to be a system that exports more than keeps their own, because with the proximity to Toronto, it is easy for the higher level players to move across and find a role to play with not that long a commute to make it to practices. Same cannot be said for our proximity to Quest in Quebec City. But Quebec also picking up on some players, not necessarily in this game, but when we saw Iris, they had some out of Quebec players, such as Aaron Daly, playing within that A-tier system.
Quest has it on this break side here. Down 1 point, trying to hold. Inside throw. He's gesturing for someone to go deep, but instead it's all undercuts right now for Quest. Big fakes on Sky Powell going around. McKellen in coverage.
And there's a call.
He's calling a foul.
And not contested.
Not contested, yeah.
Coming in on 0 or stalling 1.
Two players going after it, and they'll get the score. Quest. Another hold, Tushar. So I think the final game of the day for both of these teams, they're just settling in and just firing on all cylinders, as they say.
It's a bit of a different mixed game than what we saw yesterday, if you were here watching the stream, with the red flag on both of those games, hucking constantly, looking for the deep shot. So different styles. Quest, much more careful, measured with the disc, and ensuring that they keep possession, which is indicative of the Quebec City style. If you think back to teams like Onyx and how well they handled and moved the disc.
That's a throwback name right there, Tushar.
Well, 2 weekends ago, I was playing at Grandmasters in Montreal and matched up on Quarantine. And one of the players was a Onyx player from way back in the day. Still had the hucks, the full field hucks and accuracy. Again, working on my conditioning plan. And I know during this broadcast, I've been aging myself quite a bit, talking about some of the players, where they came from. Back to Dan. Dan, also in the Waterloo system originally, but really self-established when Crash went out and built their own system.
Yeah. Flying layout. Not able to get on Danielle Lung. Around to Balzerson. Looks like a melt was called there. And Union gets the score. Andrew Carroll, a big addition for the squad, gets the goal.
All right. Thanks to Philippe Belanger Dorval Eric Dion was on Onyx, and he's quarterbacking that Quest offense right now. He's a grandmaster.
Philip Dorval messaged me as well. Philip, if you have some more names, rosters, just message me and we'll make sure we get those identified. We keep saying, but unfortunately, stream kind of last minute, last second.
So as asked on this stream, or in the chat, this is the bronze medal game. And it is important for placement as Worlds bids are allocated and more bids become available throughout next year. The World Ultimate Club Championships are going to be held in Lebanon, Ohio.
Not Lebanon. That's the running joke, right? So
and are important because of its location and the travel distance, as well as what is generally happening in the U.S. right now. Some teams may elect not to attend, and as that happens, the bids will open up.
Looking for cutters underneath. Scuba, ate out by Jeff Wood. He bats it forward. Totally legal move there. Wasn't batting it to himself. And Wu for the bookends. Comes down with it. Union takes the lead 6-4.
That was a big defensive coverage to get that turn. And most of the turns we've seen in games that result in momentum shifts happen when that defensive coverage amps up and players start putting pressure for those turns.
Yeah, you saw Wu's handler check, try to like juke a little bit, but that throw was a little tight and obviously floating as well, not to the proper side of the handler. So that led to that turnover right there.
An exciting game. The next game that we'll have here on the stream will be the mixed final. And will allow us to meet our quota of 5 games for this day. Theo, how are you feeling?
Tushar, I was pretty amped up during the open final. I'm not gonna lie to you, a pretty intense game, and even just calling it. And you know, sometimes there's a bit of a emotional letdown. I know ultimate players can understand that, and we're trying to get right back up because we got some exciting action for you right now. And then the mixed final is going to be some fireworks. The bid's on the line. There's going to be no placement game. The winner gets a bid to WCC. Lab already getting one by virtue of their victory in 2019.
And the observer is calling that the disc was in. So despite the middle call, it is taken on the sideline. And this one's going to be hucked deep.
Looking for a target. Azuzana can't track it down.
And there's stall down called. This is going to be interesting because there wasn't any observers close by. And the question will be, is it a turner or not? And it's coming in on 8, contested, stall down.
Is he going to huck it again, Tushar?
This is not going to be a huck deep.
That's going to work it up the field here.
From a field possession, I could tell that they had a free cutter. But that one sails just beyond the reach of numero 19.
Tushar busting out the French. I like it.
It's called grade school French, Theo. I think we all have it.
I don't know if I remember. Powell looking for Atchison. Big play. And Quest gets in the way there.
Good defensive pressure.
Half is at 7, so if Union gets a score pushing up to 7-4, you don't want to see that if you're a Quebec City fan. Up the line, Atchison couldn't get there. Nice throw, Dion, one of the players that we've identified now for Quest. And miscommunication leads to
And there is a call.
a potential block, but there is a call. You're right, Tushar. It is a foul.
And that's one of the nice parts about getting back is we start to learn more of the players, regional players' names, and I hope that we're able to travel a little bit more so that in subsequent tournaments and years, we are more familiar with these players and their capabilities. We're waiting for the conversation. The observer is going to make, they're saying, the observer is going to make the call, and it was a foul. It will stay with number 27, Veset.
Beauregard, I've been told. So I'm getting numbers on the fly right now. Combo is his name. So appreciate the numbers filing in ever so slowly there. Dion finds Breton. Big fakes back to Dion. Dion moves his one teammate out of the way to find the player for the score. 6-5. They need that hold there, Tushar. Otherwise, they're going to go down 7. They don't want to go down a half to 7.
Now, these are shorter games. We didn't keep track of when it started, so they will only last 70 minutes. And it is a hard cap game as well.
All games for today. I know some people were asking about that, but that is actually the case. All games today
have been hard cap. But Theo, we have this game, then one more, then we pack up and we go for burgers and shakes.
Yeah, I have to take a couple people back now apparently to Toronto, so I don't know if we're going to be stopping there.
Well, you come for burgers and shakes, but I'm not buying them burgers and shakes.
Of course not. Sarah Lamb back in the action here. Center handling for Union over to Carroll. Scooped up by Mann coming down through the air. And looks like the rain has kind of stopped here and it has gotten warmer as you mentioned, which is nice to see.
And the cut changed direction a little bit. Didn't match up quite with the intended trajectory. And Quest get a chance.
This is a big break opportunity to tie it up at 6s. And he had it in his hands, but just bobbles at number 13.
And you could see the expression of frustration as well. These players expecting quite a bit out of themselves.
Sarah Lamb with the big grab, otherwise known as slam to her teammates. Blanchard. So inside throw, that's going to be tough. Carroll comes down with it. He had the wherewithal to kind of focus on that. Blanchard going up the line to Balzerson. Is this for half? It is.
It's a little bit of a Waterloo connection there with Blanchard playing quite a bit in the Waterloo region as well. But now 7-5, and it's half. And Quest had that opportunity there to get that break back, but unfortunately in and out of their hands in the end zone. As this Union team, quite familiar to us and also Ontario players. Andrew Carroll, we've mentioned quite a few times now with the wavy hair and the party out back, as he would say. And Andrew Carroll, previously having played on GOAT. We are going to take a break now as part of our halftime and collect ourselves, but please focus back on this game, or come back to this game in a few minutes as we finish off the second half and then go into the mixed final.
We're back. UCI, that's the Ultimate Canada Invitational. I am Ultimate's coverage in Ottawa, Ontario. UPI Fields, Theo Wan here with Tushar Singh. Union in the darks, receiving up 7-5. Pulling is Quest out of Quebec City in the whites. don't go away after this game because we got the mixed finals between Vancouver's Red Flag and Winnipeg's Pretty Boys and Handsome Girls. Funny team name, but a good team making it to the finals. Flying block, and Quest needs that, but there's a foul call.
There is a foul call, and certainly there was contact. It's going to be contested, but sending it back and then stall two.
Carroll. Balzerson now with the disc, looking for options. Finds Blanchard. Blanchard's bursting up lines, gonna fire a flick hook to Azuzena, who comes down with the score.
And that was a lot of bodies heading into that area very quickly. And Union start off the half with a point, 8-5. Quest definitely amping up the defensive pressures. We could see there a couple of layouts, some contact on a few of the points. I do thank everyone for tuning in on this stream. If you are watching on imultimate.com/live, then you'll notice a couple of links as part of these streams that we're doing, not asking for donations for ourselves to cover our costs. We are doing that ourselves because we would instead like you to donate to charities that we have linked on that page. The primary charity for this week is FN Caring, First Nations Caring. You'll find their link on the site. Also, the National Truth and Reconciliation Center, based out of the University of Manitoba. If you've already given to another charity related to Indigenous causes, thank you very much. As we turn our attention back to this game.
Dion, who was in the air, now blows a tire and injury.
That would be a tough loss at this point in the game. But the last game of the season.
Now, hard to believe the summer has gone by pretty quickly there, Tushar. So now we're heading into the fall in Ontario, and some more ultimate action, and hopefully some going to be indoors, just depending on restrictions, of course. Lynch holds up, safe play there, decides not to bid. Low throw, can't be scooped up. Yu was playing some good defense there, putting out the foot blocks allowed.
I do like the movement that Quest had, though. And there's a deep strike, but an injury from a Quest player. Numero Vincent, 27, is taking a substitution. And number 13 on Union coming off.
Cam Dunning coming off, and Andrew Carroll replacing him.
Andrew Carroll originally getting his start on GOAT when he was under 18.
I was going to say, he was on GOAT at a very young age, if I'm not mistaken. I know Tim Sang was like that as well.
I had the opportunity to sit down with some of the GOAT captains about 11, 12 years ago and hear about their perspective. And they wanted to build players that would fit into their system, promising young players. Most Canadian systems do that.
Nipam. Big fake. Good patient movement here from Union. starting on defense. Carroll goes around. High throw. Can Thorpe get there? Good layout attempt, but Quest another opportunity here on offense.
Well, I felt a gust of wind just at that point, which probably reached that point of the field at the same time, considering that it's coming at a diagonal. May have just popped that disc up a little bit. But we've seen a lot of in and out of hands discs at that point of the field as well this tournament.
Up the line, sliding for the grab. Another layout grab from Quest, and they're putting their bodies on the line for bronze medal. Timeout called. The score being 8-5. This is a much needed point here for Quest. We're going to take a timeout and be right back.
Coming out of the timeout, we consulted with the observers. There are 28 minutes remaining in this game. Cap is at 14:58 or 2:58 p.m. And Quest, 6-player slanted stack. And running a little bit of handler isolation, but bringing in some of their cutters from the stack. And sends it deep with a high stall count. And while it's floating, there's some calls on the field and potentially stalled down. Stalled down, no contest. Union will keep it or start off fairly close to the end zone. Carroll. And not a lot of movement to that corner, but the disc put out there needed perhaps a little bit more float. As you can hear, the wind picks up. Just a burst. As we continue to have changing weather systems. Cross field, confident throw, great vision. Dion. And there's a foul call. Plenty of contact between those two players. They'll be coming on stalling one. Quest with a vertical stack. And perhaps too quick of a reset. And Union getting a breakthrough. 9-5 running the field. And that was a tough turnover for Quest. On the handler reset, it was very tight setup.
Hugo Lynch with a big play there. Hugo Lynch with a big play there. And Union taking control up 9-5. I was just gone for a second there to get some rosters for the next game, but you were hearing the sweet, sweet sounds of Tushar Singh on the mic. He's also manning the scoreboard and the camera. Multi-talented, multi-faceted person back here.
So I don't get along with people, so no one commentates with me.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but you said it. So
we'll say it again. So due to restrictions, it's been difficult to get people onto the fields or people wanting to make the trek, especially with limited parking, which does occur here at UPI.
Lots of different factors is what you're saying there, Tushar.
Lots of different factors. It's not just me, but mostly is. And this pole lands at about midfield.
We've been told by observer Alex Tacone this game will end at 2:58 Eastern time. So game started a bit later, so we'll end at that time. See red flag on the field further away from us warming up. PBHG warming up to our left. You will not be able to see it on the camera side. But both teams getting ready for the mixed final. Winner gets a bid if they choose to accept to 2022 WUCC, the World Ultimate Club Championships. Looking deep, they need this point, and just too far. Quest just not connecting late into this matchup.
A little bit of miscommunication. There was plenty of space to run onto it. But the cutter there, number, I can't see his number right now, number 13.
Trez, right? Trez. I think I got that one.
Yes. Number 13, Trez, was looking to come in rather than actually go deep.
Heidemann with a snag, number 18 for Union. McKellen is going deep. He's going to bomb it. Good matchup. A tall receiver comes down with it strong. Going to float it out to man. And Union gets another score. They're up 10-5.
And with about 20 minutes left to play in this game, we are seeing Union pull ahead.
Quest electing not to call a timeout. They're just going to put their offensive line back on. And the wind might be coming out of the sails for the Quebec City squad.
In this bronze medal match, they've had a pretty good run to get to this point in the tournament.
Absolutely.
And in general, as mentioned, Quebec City has a fairly strong ultimate program.
And Philip Dorval, the one that you had heard from earlier in the chat, technical director there. So I just love the model of some of these major cities in Quebec. I know Montreal's the same. There's a technical director that kind of oversees the different club programs and organization of coaches, how programming is done, practices, the developmental teams, all that stuff. When you have people that oversee it, it just makes it more purposeful for your city, Tushar. And I think Quebec City, Montreal, they got it going right where they're located.
Well, there's much more of a community culture in these ultimate communities.
Yeah.
And Philippe has earlier also shared some rosters with us, which unfortunately we weren't necessarily able to use, but we will aim to do so in the future as Dion gets the disc.
Now we'll have full rosters, pronunciations ready to go for the next game. We just, like we said, didn't get them early. Big Huck going up. And 2 Quest players there. It gets batted away. And another turnover for Quebec City and maybe a foul called right now.
There is a conversation happening. We will find out what the result is shortly, but appears to be a foul call that Pat's intersected, preventing a possible play on the disc. In the center of your screen, the observers also will discuss what they saw. So Theo, are you going to be playing any sort of winter league?
I'm retired, like I told you last week. I've retired from the sport, also taking up some other things, for now. A little bit of bouldering, some rock climbing out there. Play some round net, otherwise known as spike ball, and things like that. But no ultimate winter league for me. I'm not a big fan of League 2, so I'm going to be honest with you. I more prefer practicing and during the summer and then kind of taking the off-season easy.
All right, that was a turnover. Union now regain possession.
Yeah, Cam Dunning with it. Finds Emily Tran. They're working at the open side. David Murray, the Queens alum. Finds Brian Yu. Yu sees Cam Dunning. He's going to get it for the score. Brian Yu makes it 11-5 for a Union. And as someone said in the chat, the dagger has been put down.
Yeah, it's this game getting away a little bit from Quest. It is the bronze game. All these teams have battled through 16-team pool at this invitational.
Yeah, I love that teams are still here supporting, and we'll see what kind of sideline we get for the mixed final. By far, the biggest sideline had to be the open final. Just people were excited to see the Fierce Mephisto matchup, but also a lot of games ended at that time. So games have ended now, and so teams have left. There are some people on teams I didn't even get a chance to see because of the fact that they just left. So, I mean, it is going to happen.
And we are seeing Furious sticking around.
I think they just got later flights. From what I've been told, Traffic had earlier flights. I know Danny Proby, my co-host on the Huck and Eight podcast, had to leave early because their flight was like at 4 something p.m. So some people having earlier flights, some people booking later flights, and so I believe Fierce is actually sticking around another day, if I'm not mistaken. So other things happening for them.
And they'll be on the sideline supporting Red Flag.
Vancouver's own is true, and a different city being represented in the final for mix, which I like. Winnipeg, Prairies. Get excited. Tell your friends. Winnipeg, PBHG in the final.
Is Quest running a horizontal stack?
Deep shot. Andy K in the area. England's own. And he can't get there, so Quest finally gets a score. Much needed. Big huck down the open side. But as I said before, Tushar, it looks like going to be too little, too late.
Great energy on that point to move it quickly and deeply. That was much faster paced offense rather than the careful handling they've been doing to take that shot and get the energy. Caught Union a little bit by surprise as well, that to set up that play, and well placed huck as well, coming in easily for the cutter, even though 2 Union defenders were closing in on them. And Theo, as you mentioned, Winnipeg in the finals. That Winnipeg quite often does make the finals. It has an excellent mixed program. Denny Saunders, executive director, has played on Chaos out of Winnipeg.
Was that with the C or with the K?
That would be with the C.
Ooh.
and the more successful of the similarly named teams, as Chaos won Canadian championships and has medaled in order to earn bids to Worlds.
Tusha, I could listen to you all day with your history lessons here. And you know what, though? I'm excited for the finals just because I'm looking at the fields. I believe that's going to be the only game running. So if people do choose to stay, they'll be able to support this cool game happening. So I'm excited to see kind of one game on the field, showcase game. Saraland with the disc on offense for Union. Looking for Atchison. Turnover. Quest can make it interesting.
And tipped up on that layout. Attempt to preserve control as Dan picks up the disc with a very deep dump.
Down to Sarah Burke. Lung. Union's offense has been pretty smooth throughout this game, Tushar, and really putting Quest in trouble, especially on the turn when they're on their defensive line is on offense. Lung with it now. Looking for Burke up line. Just bounces off her left hand for a turnover. Quest defensive group. Chance to score once again.
And timeout called by Quest. As I believe they take their second timeout of the half. And we'll be back as well in just a few moments.
Quest bringing it back in. You're watching I Am Ultimate's coverage of the 2021 Ultimate Canada Invitational. Skies opening up, not sun, but no rain. And that's going to be great for the mixed final coming up.
And these fields definitely have had some play over the last few weeks. Had a bit of a chance to recover over the past week, but this
Coming
week,
in with a poach block. Sorry to cut you off there, Tushar, but exciting play happening for Union. Lamb, this is their offensive line out there. Couple points away from the cap. Atchison, doorstep. Goal, Blanchard.
And Blanchard cutting up from the dump spot to take that point and make it 12-6.
Yeah, at this point, just a formality of finishing up this game. Union going to get the bronze medal and go home to Toronto. Pretty excited that they were able to come with bronze. I know they were hoping to potentially be in the final, but they ran into the buzzsaw that is red flag in the semifinal. And that's tough. They had a good run, though, taking out Crash in pool play. And interestingly enough, they actually lost to local 613 Union did in pool play. And then were able to kind of get to where they need to be first in the pool by de facto some tiebreakers. Local actually ended up not making the pre-quarters even. So some interesting results happening. Some big upsets, including Gazbacho not making it out of the pre-quarters.
I'm not really considering Gazpacho being an upset, considering they're a team that doesn't really practice or really a team beyond a single season.
Or a single tournament, actually. I don't think it's a single season even.
Exactly, a single tournament. We've had teams like that before, and they've had some interesting success, and it depends upon the nationals event that they show up to. For example, Nagano did have some success having silver, but that was in what we would consider an off year with Montreal Old Stars.
Yes, Montreal Old Stars. I remember them as well.
Which, by the way, was a phenomenal second half in that game.
Big flying layout by Nippon. Can't get it, but Union still putting their bodies on the line right now, despite the big lead, doubling up Quest. Nice juke cut.
Honestly, I think everyone's prepped to play for 3 days at least, if not 4.
Yeah, people's conditioning seems to be getting back into shape here, and can't wait to see what happens next year for national events or regional events like a Jazz Fest, No Borders that gets played here at UPI. Great tournaments. Dump and swing action. A little reset movement, and Quest gets a score, making it 12-7.
Good defensive pressure from Union, but Quest basically shrugs it off, works their way up, doesn't get rattled at all, and makes some good plays using the whole field, going from the far sideline to the near sideline, back to the far sideline to score in that corner. We're seeing the capabilities of Quest. This 70-minute format makes it difficult in order to effectively manage games and swing momentum in your favor.
Well, Tushar, to be honest, if you're down a few points, like 3 or 4 points in a game, 70-minute game, like it's tough, especially in the second half, right? Like it's just so hard to come back with the reduced timing. It's just tough.
It is, with the team in the lead only needing to score 6 points in most cases. But we are looking at just about 8 minutes remaining in this game. Then we will go right to the mixed final, which we will be bringing on this stream with very little break, most likely. And after that, we're going for Burgers and Shakes. And I brought up Burgers and Shakes a few times. It's over here at UPI. It's a restaurant that's fairly close, or takeout burger joint that's fairly close, and something that many of the players and participants of these tournaments, location that they go to right after or between games. I'll be finishing out the remainder of the game as Theo will gather rosters for the next game, running with a skeleton crew here for this tournament. Quest with a roller. Stops at about the break mark, perhaps midfield. And set up a vertical stack. And Quest with the D in the end zone to keep this game going. Set up into the vert stack and deep shot right away. And a bobble. And Quest make it 8-12. Showing excellent grit and resilience in that final point. The huck off their line didn't quite have the intended result, but the error by Union then produced for them an opportunity, a two-pass opportunity. And Union sending out an O-line looking to finish off this game and clinch that bronze. Quest definitely showing the pressure, not going to make it easy if they can. Disc well read and taken high. And Union clinches bronze at UCI 2021 versus Quest, who finishes in fourth. The ordering now set up for bids that may become available. Great game by both teams. Tough tournament, tough conditions after a hot summer, playing on a cool weekend. Unlike weather potentially any of these teams have played on for a couple of years. They will now be asked to leave the field as we bring on the mixed final. Thank you for everyone who joined us for this game. Please stay tuned for the mixed final, which will start in approximately 5 minutes, between Red Flag of Vancouver and Pretty Boys and Handsome Girls from Winnipeg.